You're listening to the Generational Wealth Through Commercial Real Estate podcast. Your host, Will Smith, is a former NFL player that found his passion in commercial real estate. Every week, you will learn from industry experts everything you need to know to get started investing in commercial real estate to build generational wealth.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, today we got Vinney Chopra on. He's a big-time syndicator. He's been doing this for a while now. He's done about 27 syndications. If I'm not mistaken, Vinney, your portfolio is around 320 million right now, and it's still growing.
I did the 28th one last week. Hallelujah!
Congratulations, congratulations, man. So, Vinney, tell us a little bit about how you got started with multifamily, and just give us a little backdrop, man.
Totally, Willie. Hey, thank you so much for having me on your show. Congratulations, and I'm really proud, what you're trying to accomplish here. Yeah, I started in this country with $7, as some of you might know, and I was a promotional speaker. I've been a salesperson in my career, sold Bible books, encyclopedias, door to door, outside Augusta, right there, Augusta, Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia, all that. But then I became promotional consultant, got excited about motivation speaking, and then became a broker in 2004. So I've been a broker, real estate broker in California near San Francisco for that much. We had a lot of single family homes, Willie, all across the nation. But, the cash flow was not that strong. Yeah. And maybe a lot of your audience might be feeling that way also. Right. That's when I decided in 2005 and 6 and 7 to learn multifamily. I was introduced to apartments, and being an engineer, mechanical engineer, logical mind, it just made sense. I would rather have 20 homes in one lot rather than spread all across USA and different management companies managing them and taking my money away, all that stuff, right?
Right.
So that's when I came in with the, multifamily, and I learned the tricks of the trade. My very first one was a duplex, duplex and all that. But then I bought 14 units for $180,000. That was my start.
Wow. That's awesome, man. That's a very good story. From $7 to buying multifamily real estate. That's crazy, man. Well, okay. So real quick, man, tell me, why did you decide to go with multifamily instead of retail or self-storage or something like that initially?
That's a good point. Very good point. Because when I became broker, we even started, my wife used to be a realtor, and he had asked me, she says, you know so much about it, you should just go and sit in the exam. And I passed it on first try. And I didn't have any experience of any sales whatsoever in real estate, just to let you know. At that time, you could do it. You don't need the experience, didn't need the experience at that time. So I've been a broker, an active broker ever since. But when I became broker, I said, what can I utilize my skills in, right? I looked into office space leasing. That I remember, industrial, I remember shopping centers, I remember hospitality. But then I talked about multifamily. It just made sense because we were in single family homes, and my wife was selling them and all. But we said, you know what? It makes sense to buy more units and control them, and then we could do some really good economies of scale. And the occupancy. See, think about this way too. When you have a tenant leave in an office space, you lose a big tenant, or in retail shopping center or things like that. In multifamily, if you have 20 unit apartment building, only one person leaves or two leave, that's only 98% occupancy still. So that made sense to me mind-wise. I said, oh my gosh, this is the place to be. And then I dug myself into, I didn't know anything about anything. Let me tell you, your audience, I didn't know NOI, net operating income, cash on cash, letter of intent. I did not know a bit about it. I asked my friend who was in real estate, and in a restaurant, he wrote on a napkin, what LOI is. He
Right.
says, well, this is where you give the terms to the buyer that you would like to buy. It's not binding, all that stuff, right?
Yep.
Then I started digging into it, and it just made sense. It just made sense. And that's where, I all started into the
Yeah.
multifamily rather than any other commercial sector.
Right, right, right. Well, that's a great story behind why you decided to go with multifamily, and it makes a lot of sense. It really does. It makes a whole lot of sense. So,
Sure.
what are you doing right now to help you find your deals?
Good point. It's the brokers' relationships is the key. I
Yeah.
would like to ask, your audience to really hone in the area they're going to purchase first. That's
Right.
the number one thing, right? The emerging market. We talk about, over and over and over again, jobs, jobs, and jobs.
Yeah.
As indicators or investors, we should always be looking for the neighborhoods that are gentrifying, that are getting bigger and better. More offices are opening up, more
Yeah.
jobs are coming. So I was in like Texas. I live near San Francisco. We
Right.
have been living here for 39 years. We got 40th wedding anniversary next year. Next
Wow.
year. Really
Wow.
excited about it. We have two children, Neil and Monica. They went to school, Berkeley and UCLA. Our daughter went there. And Monica is fully engrossed into our business
Yep.
now. At the peak, we had 100 full-time team members, 100,
Wow. Wow.
and we have about 55 now because we have sold some assets and things like
Yep.
that. But the key thing is, you got to build relationship with the brokers in the market you're going to purchase.
Yep.
Don't waste time. See, brokers will not. You're a broker too, right?
Yeah. Yep.
We will not like to waste time. I won't like to waste time. And
Yep.
you got to know the lingo. That's the other part. You
Right.
need to know the value add, how many units you can afford, how much money you have equity, that we have already raised the equity, or I'm representing a group of investors and we have X amount of equity. We are looking for 100 unit in this market.
Yeah.
And that's what the broker wants to hear because they want to sell the property.
Right. Right.
I mean,
Right.
look at that,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
That's
So
a good
the
point.
more you make it easy for them, the better.
Right. Right. Absolutely, man. And so you're in your book. What's the name of your book again?
Oh my gosh. Hey,
There we
hey,
go.
hey. The
Apartment
apartment
syndication made easy. Yeah, I read
easy.
that book, man. It's an awesome book, man. It gave
Thank
you a lot of insight on how to really get into this game, man. Awesome book.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. My second book is coming out.
Oh
Whoa,
man.
wow. Look at
Okay.
that. I've been a
Yeah.
positive person all my life. My wife
Yeah.
said, she says, oh my gosh, I like your book, the one you have now. It's
Yeah.
got limited audience, but I have lived with you for 39 years.
Yeah.
You should write a book on positivity. Guess
Right.
what? I started writing the next day.
Wow. Wow. That's awesome. But in your book, Apartment Syndication Made Easy, you mentioned something about a napkin deal. Like, how can we get to those napkin deals? Or could you please explain it first, and then how can we get to
Oh,
that
I
point?
would love to. I would love to. Sure. Really, the napkin deal, I invented that term. Pocket listing, everybody knows, right?
Yep. Yep.
Pocket listing is when you have a signed contract with the seller and you are vying to get a contract. See, when a seller likes to give and I've sold so many properties now, right? I bought and
Yep.
sold, but what we like to do is ask for a BPO, buy a broker's price opinion. It's
Mm-hmm.
called in commercial language. So
Right.
you give it out to several people, the Marcus Millichap, the ARAs, the his income properties, like in my case in Houston,
Yep.
Transwestern and this and that, I'm Cushman and Field, I mean, all of them, right?
Yep.
So they give you broker's price opinion, BPO or value opinion, then you decide on one company. They share with you the market plan and how they're going to blast the property all
Yep.
over USA, how big a list they have and all that. So you
Yep.
sign a contract to exclusively market with that company. All
Right.
right. So
Right.
that's called listing, pocket listing. It's called because the broker keeps it in their pocket for some time
Yeah.
before they reveal it to the whole world, by the
Right.
way. Their teams and their floor, I call it in the book, and all that, 5 levels.
Yeah.
So pocket listing is one term, but napkin listing, I invented that because when I was buying, I bought 10 properties in 2 years, 10 properties.
Yeah.
Every 2 months, I was doing a syndication south of Houston.
Yeah.
But what I found, Willie, was these brokers did not have a listing. They were just sitting down with the seller on a napkin. They
Yeah.
were writing down, the terms of whatever they want, the price wise, and their
Right.
address and things at a breakfast or lunch or dinner. And I was trying to get that napkin listing sent to me right away
Yeah.
because I told them I have proven record and I have the equity, I have the strength, I qualify for loans. So they were shooting me these napkin listings,
Mm.
and I was doing the research. I knew more about the property than the broker itself.
Wow. That's crazy.
and, and they'll give me the P&L, profit and loss, rent
Yeah.
roll, like in a day or so, or next morning or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I would have done all the research. I would have Googled them, gone on apartments.com, gone on Facebook, gone on the crime rate, gone on everything, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the massive action. The brokers like people who make really good decisions quicker, better, and come to a decision. That's
Right.
what happened with me. So
Right.
I'll just put an offer, LOI, in 24 hours to be truthful, or 36 hours.
Wow.
And they will not need to give it to anybody.
Wow. That is awesome, man. Wow, that's the way to go. That's the way to go, man. No wonder you're finding all these great deals.
I know. And then the track record helps a lot because, when you say that I have bought that 28 properties, 28 in my
Mhm.
career, multifamily, amounting to about 338 million now, right? Oh my
Yep.
God, 180,000. 180,000. My first one was for 14 units,
Yep.
and
Yep.
now we bought 200 units for 35 million last week. But
Yep.
we bought in June with my partners, Enzo Multifamily, great people,
Yep.
my very good friends, and we are able to go 50-50 and buy and manage our assets because we are vertically integrated. So
Right.
I have always had my companies to manage the assets also, which it's kind of hard in the starting, to be truthful,
Yeah.
but your audience can look into that. Once you have few assets under your belt, it's a great opportunity to really bring about the great returns,
Yeah.
negotiating contracts, saving money, doing marketing much better, all those things, right? So
Yeah. Now,
my
real,
next
real
book,
quick, Vinny. Yeah, because some people don't know what you mean when you say vertically integrated. So, what do you
oh, I
mean
would
when you
love
say
to.
vertically integrated?
I would love to, Willie. So, vertically integrated means you have your own acquisition company, like in my case, Moneil Investment Group right
Yep.
now, and then Moneil Management Group. I'm the CEO of both of them,
Yep.
right? So, we have in house management company. So, when you have a lot of companies, and my educational companies in house, right?
Right. Right.
So, I'm vertically integrated with my acquisition company, I'm starting a hospitality company now also. I'm
Yep.
getting into hotels, senior living. I'm starting another company which is
Yep.
going to be investing in ground up senior living. So that's vertically, you're just adding more and more and more in your portfolio, and you're self building and managing.
Right. Right. And that saves you a lot of money being vertically
It
integrated.
does. It really does, and also it gives you the strength to talk numbers, and you can change the marketing, and look at the different things happening in different parts of your company,
Yep.
right? In a big dashboard, I call it dashboard, right?
Yep. Yep.
So
Gotcha.
streams of income, streams of different parts of the business.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense, and that's definitely the way to go if you can get there for sure.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know it's been a while, but if you can remember back when you was first getting started, man, what was the biggest challenge you found yourself facing?
I would say the biggest challenge was to get to know the market and to get to know the material. I mean, I paid thousands of dollars. I'll be a lot of people who follow me, they know I spent $165,000 to learn the tricks. The problem was it cost me only 25,000, I think, for me,
Yeah.
but I took my lot of team members
Right.
with me, and with my partner, of course. She
Yeah.
survived and I survived and her husband survived, but other people fizzled out. Here we
Yeah.
spent so much money, but they did not have the same drive, the same enthusiasm, the same uncanny hard work, right? That's
Yeah.
what you need, the grinding, the hard work. So I would highly recommend everybody to really get a good mentor, a coach, or good program to learn from, because I'm where I am because I invested that money. If
Yeah.
I had not invested and not really gotten used to getting how to write the deals, how to talk about how the scripts, how to have credibility kit, all those things
Right.
which we provide in our academy now, day one, with the students that join. But you're right. The biggest trouble was, and we were starting in the crash. That's
Right.
the other problem.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to talk to you or give you loans or anything
Yeah.
because market was falling in 2007, and 8. That's
Right.
when we started the company. So
Right.
it took us 11 months. 11 months. I want your audience to, it's not overnight success at all.
Right.
It never is. It never is. People look at me and say, Vinney, you're so successful, this and that. But you know what? I really paid my dues. And for 11 months, it took us so much. Everybody rejected us. We didn't have any money raised. We borrowed money to even put the down payment. All that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But the magic of thinking big, you got to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
How to influence your friends and influence people, how to win friends. Think and grow rich. All these stuff. The exciting part is, Willie, I always sign the book.
Mm-hmm.
I always sign the book when I buy it. So look at that, 1978, buddy. 78.
Wow.
That's 41 years back. I had this book. I have in my possession, even after 41 years. How to control your life and time. It's who you are.
Right.
You want to always immerse yourself into it.
Yep.
And you just say that nothing is going to stop me. Nothing is going to stop me. Just like, in your professional football days, right? You were so great, and your colleagues and everybody, it took that, gumption and that drive. And that's what we need in the game of multifamily also. It's a game. It's a game.
Right.
And now I'm breaking my academy into 5 academies because I'm finding, even though I wrote this book, Apartment Syndication Made Easy, it's not easy.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's a lot of hard work that goes into it, man.
A lot of hard work, buddy.
Yeah.
So now we are breaking it out now into like my first single apartment, that I bought, like 10 units or 5 units, 7 units. That's commercial, right? 5 units or 4 is commercial. Then second one, which I'm building academy, is about joint venture, with a smaller joint venture, no syndication, no SEC ruling, whatever, but just doing it like 14 units or 20 units, small. That's my second academy. Third one, at this time, we really can teach a lot of people how to invest passively. So passively investing is my third academy. that we are breaking it out and we're going to be providing materials and all. Fourth one is the real one.
Yeah.
That's this one.
Right.
Syndication. And the fifth academy is going to be my apartment management academy. See, that's something we don't really teach that much.
You're right.
That's what I've been doing it for the last 11 years with my accounting department, with my HR, payroll department, my regional managers, my asset managers, just the whole gamut of things.
Right.
We project numbers pretty strongly, right?
Yeah.
We could do with the slip of a hand, but how to bring about the results, the cash flow, and the equity gain.
Yeah.
That's what is really, really important. See?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm really geared towards right now, to put together my thinking, all the systems. I'm a system guy.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. So just to reiterate what you just said, your biggest challenge was, number one, you started when it was a bad time. There was a lot of no's. So what I gather from that is, you got to have a strong why. Your reasoning got to be more than I just want to make money. Like it got to be something that is going to get you up and then keep you going, because you got a lot of no's and you didn't get your first deal for 11 months. That's almost a year,
Yeah.
So I know you got a strong why. I know you believe in what you're doing, and your success proves it.
No, thank you. But that's so true. And I think, the biggest thing is having the strong whys and dedicating your daily work to somebody different than you. Yeah. Otherwise, we concentrate on all the negativism in me, why God is doing this, why this is not happening, why the lender is not talking to me, why a broker just turned me off, and why doesn't he reply to me, all that stuff, right? But having that strong why and affirmations, that's the other one. Goal setting and having strong whys and great affirmations on 3x5 cards, that's the product who I am today. The tapes that I've been listening to, Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, Tom Hopkins, Tony Robbins, all the great people, Les Brown, Wayne Dyer, you name it, right? Stephen Covey. I have bought maybe 1,000 books in my lifetime. When I didn't have money, I was spending $1,000 on my education. And I was always knowing, I knew that, that I can change my habits and get out of my comfort zone. See, that's the other problem. A lot of us stay in the comfort zone and then we don't want to get out of it. Successful people like to do the things that unsuccessful people don't like to do. Come on, that's the key thing. That's the real deal. Unsuccessful people are those who keep on doing the same thing over and over and over again and find that they will get a different result. That's the definition of insanity. Insanity definition is to keep on repeating and expect different results. So everybody should look into their last 7 days, 7 months, and 7 years. I'd say everything in 7 because I came into this country with $7, So 7, and in the motivation speaking too. My career with that company was 37 years. 37 years with one company. But I decided on the 6th year that I'm going to stay with that company for 14 years, 7 times 2. When I was in the 13th year, I decided, because it was a repeat business, clientele building business, I said I'm going to be there for 21 years. And when I was in the 20th year with the company, I decided to stay with them 28 years. When I was in 27th year, I decided to go for 35 years. That's the life. I hope we all really make long-term commitments to staying in the game. That's all about.
What markets are you really liking right now?
The markets I like, really, again, there are lots of great emerging markets, right? I live near San Francisco, Los Angeles area is really good. Las Vegas, Phoenix, Tucson. Look at that, Utah. Oh my gosh, right there. And then we go to Provo, Utah. I like that. Then we go into the Midwest, and most of the time I like to work with like Lexington, Kentucky, Louisville. I've been in Texas. Texas is going to be strong always.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, that's where I've been big. Georgia, I love Atlanta, Georgia. Florida, I'm really big on Florida. I bought 2. I'm buying 3 more or 5 more over there.
Yeah.
And then also I'm finding 72 million baby boomers are retiring, and they're gravitating to Florida and Arizona. So
Yeah.
those are the 2 markets really making sense to me
Right.
to really be there. And millennials, 71 million young people, they
Yeah.
are liking portability also.
Right.
So they're also not liking to buy homes. They're going to be also living in good, nice amenities,
Yeah.
apartment complexes, right?
Right.
So
Right.
smart homes, smart units, we call it, with the Nest and the valet trash, all the
Yeah.
good stuff, right?
Right. Right. So, in those marketplaces, like, what kind of deals are you looking for as far as unit size and class?
Okay, good point. Since I am able to raise a lot of money now, here I was struggling to raise 100,000, right? In
Mm-hmm.
my 12 years back, right? Now I can raise millions of dollars in few hours. My last raise, I raised $7 million in 7 hours. That
Wow.
number 7 just stays with me in my
Yeah.
life. That number
Yeah.
7.
Wow. Wow.
So I can raise, and a lot of my other people are reaching out to me, and they say, Vinney, we want to work with you, with your company and your track record, and
Yeah.
I can raise you 2 million, I can raise you 10 million. I just got a call yesterday, and I'm talking right now at 9 o'clock, is like 40 million. I mean, this,
Wow.
and he's got contacts all over the world
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
in USA. So that's where, my bandwidth right now is to buy 35 million asset to 100 million asset,
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm kind of in the big league now.
Yeah. Yeah. You're a major player. You're leaving the small fries behind.
Hey, there is so much potential. There
Yeah.
is so much out there,
Yeah.
really. So that's the good part, and I tell my students also in the academy that, we have different trees. I mean, every investor has a different tree, different branches, different leaves
Yeah.
of investors, and the deals they'll be able to take them down. So there
Right.
is a big field, but be in the market to get the gains. A lot of
Right.
people are kind of staying out of the market for the last 2 years, I heard. And then some are saying, okay, I'm not going to worry about it. Correction is coming. Okay, when the correction comes, guess what? Opportunities come. The
Yep.
people who will have the money will be able to buy the stuff a little cheaper.
Yep.
That's the time to buy.
Right. 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 Absolutely. I agree 100%. 100%. It's just about buying in the right situation, right?
So true. So
Yeah.
very true. Yep.
Yeah. So, when you're looking at a deal, because I mean, obviously you look at a lot of deals. What are some red flags that you see to say, hey, this is not a deal for us?
Oh, okay. When I look at the deal, definitely I'm looking at the cash on cash. Now, cash on cash is big in my game. Of course, cap rate, I do also look at cap rate, and
Yeah.
of course, the neighborhood and everything. But we are purchasing right now B class assets in B plus area or A area,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so forth. So I would say anybody starting out, please look into where you are going to be purchasing it, right? That's huge. That is the big thing.
Right.
And, do your total research. That's the word,
Yeah.
how the jobs will be coming there. If the Starbucks is opening up, or a Best Buy or a Walmart in certain part of the town,
Yeah.
metropolis area, that means that's path of progress.
Right.
And that's where you want to pick up your new property. You
Yeah.
know, it could be C. I mean, I was in C's and C
Yeah.
pluses and C
Yeah.
minuses. You know, I just have graduated. That's all it is.
Right. You got to start somewhere, right? You got to start
Yeah.
somewhere. Yeah. So, there's a lot of people that's jumping into the syndication space. What is the biggest rookie mistake you see people making right now?
You know, that's a good question, Willie. I would say, please, everybody starting out, make sure that you do a financial statement on yourself. Make sure that you have a net worth statement to see what kind of loan you can qualify. You need the liquidity also. And don't rely on one person, a key principle. That's something I find many times it's the biggest drawback that many of the new investors are relying on only one person,
Yeah.
and that person drops you in the middle
Yeah.
after due diligence, after sending a contract, signing the contract. You will lose that money.
Yeah.
So please seek out and look at what you can afford. Go into that number of units, that many number of units, and
Yeah.
start building your business with that particular segment, and go out and get investors. See,
Right.
that's the other thing. You know, some people have told me, Vinny, I've got this big investor. They're going to put $1 million.
Yeah.
Hold on. When you don't have that investor, it happened to me, by the way,
Yeah.
and I was just left behind. I mean,
Wow.
I was scrounging. I was looking what I can do to
Yeah.
close because we had 250,000 hard,
Wow.
non-refundable money. And
Wow.
he walked out.
Shucks.
I know it hurts, man. So
Man.
that's the key thing I would like to highly recommend. Always be working on meeting with investors and follow the 3-point rule that you cannot show them the deal unless you have fully met with them and looked at their goals and aspirations and gotten soft commitment. Then you got a deal, and then you are asking them to go ahead and invest with you. All right.
Yeah.
So you got to take time to build relationships.
Right. Absolutely. Okay, man. So let's segue into the next segment of the show. We're going to talk about a deal you've done that's most memorable to you.
Okay.
All right.
Most
So
memorable, I have had a lot of great deals. Let's talk about this one. I just sold it in January. Today's December
mhm.
2019. And this deal I bought, this was my second deal I bought. That
Mhm.
was in 2014. I bought one deal, which is still I have it, Albion Apartments. I bought on November 19th. I remember all the days. And then
Yeah.
I closed on Sienna Villa right there in Freeport, Texas on December 22nd. Look at that. A
Yeah.
month later, I bought another one, right?
Yeah.
140 units, but 16 units were burnt. They were
Oh
burnt.
wow.
One whole building was burnt. And I just bought it in the car. I was traveling,
Yeah.
and my broker said, Vinny, this deal is come and you're the first one to get it. I said, how much should I offer? I had done some research already in
Yeah.
that town. And he says, 3 million. 140 units, 3 million. I said, go for it. So he signed the LOI. No,
Yeah.
he made the LOI, but that deal made me a lot of money. I bought it for 3.550. I invested, built back the burnt units, sold for 8.6 million.
Wow.
So my investors were very happy. They were able to get like almost 30% return per year. Yeah, they
Wow.
love me.
Wow. Man, that's an awesome deal. So a broker brought it to you. It was 140 units.
Yep,
So
and
was
16 units were burned. So total, when I sold it, it was 156 units.
Gotcha. So did you have to get a bridge loan on it because of the burnt
Yes,
units?
yes, I did because
Mm-hmm.
it was not stabilized, and I knew that I'll be fixing the exterior, the paint, all that, the faucets, soffits, balconies, interiors,
Yeah.
all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, and also get the burnt building also put back together. It
Right.
didn't burn all the way to the ground.
Yeah.
The fire happened in the top one,
Yeah.
and then I was able to get a contract to put it back together for 700, I think $28,000, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So did you refi it a couple years later, or did you just leave the bridge on it?
I did. No, I did refi it, and then I was able to get a local bank actually to
Okay.
give me the loan and everything, and they were very happy, and it was no prepayment penalty, which I loved it.
Yeah, that's
And then
awesome.
I sold it in January this year.
Wow, wow, man, that's an awesome strategy, man. To find a deal like that and then add the value and sell it. 5 years later?
Yeah, 5 years later, four and a
Yeah.
half, something like that. Yeah.
Wow, wow. What a deal. What a deal, man. Good deal. So okay, man. So I appreciate you going over that deal with us, because now people that's listening to this, they can see the kind of opportunity that's out there if you can find a good value add situation. So that's awesome that you shared that with us.
Totally, totally, Willie. It's my pleasure, buddy. It's my pleasure. I'm so glad, that you asked me to come on your podcast show, and I would love to bring more value, and we can teach your audience
Yeah,
how
yeah.
to invest passively and things
Right,
like that.
right. We got one more little segment here, man,
Oh,
the lightning
sure.
round. And I'm pretty sure you're gonna add some value here for sure. Okay, so what's the best advice you ever been given?
Best advice ever my mentor said, and he was a billionaire, by the way, and he mentored me, and he passed away last year. I really appreciated his input. The big thing is you got to work in present today, because what you want to become someday, you are in the process of becoming today. Look at
Right.
that, what I just said. And that's what he was telling
Powerful.
me. He says, Vinny, if you want to become somebody in the future, incrementally you become that person. You don't become that person overnight. And
Yeah.
has stayed in my life for 40 years. You know,
Man.
every day you got to crush it. You got to get better and better each and every day.
Man, that's some great advice. I'm gonna steal that one and write that one down for myself. For sure. All right. So what's the best book you've read this year?
This year, of course, a lot of my book, which I wrote. No.
Yeah.
The Miracle Equation is a great book, by the way. Hal
Huh.
Alrod is a good friend of mine. He
Yeah.
wrote The Miracle Morning. Then there
Mm-hmm.
is another book. Then I would love to say one more. I just bought it. Pitch Anything. That's a great book. I
Okay.
hope your audience will get that a copy
Yeah.
too. I don't get paid any money or anything by
Yeah.
Oral Craft. Really good book also, because we are in the negotiation. We are into presentations and
Yep.
building relationships. Yeah.
Gotcha. I'm gonna check those out for sure. No, as far as rituals, what kind of rituals are you doing right now to help you?
My main thinking is I'm 67, by the way, and I'm looking forward my vision board for the next 30 years. The
Yep.
key thing is when I get up in the morning, I'm getting up at 4:30 and 5 o'clock nowadays, and
Yep.
I enjoy miracle morning, chanting, yoga, exercising, and eating right. That's
Yep.
huge. And then setting my goal up for the whole day, and I dress up for success. I mean, I'm working in my office. I work 40 years. I've been working in my office. I never had an outside office, by the way, in my life.
Wow.
Never.
Wow.
And I always dress up, even though nobody's coming to see me. But I have so many meetings today on Zoom
Yep.
that, I always dress up for success. And
Right.
that's what it's all about. You've got to be ready. You got to take the opportunity. You got to crush it.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, what is one thing you're doing right now to help you improve your business?
Quite a few things. Morale of them team members is so important, right? So we are entering new systems and making sure that everybody's really psyched up about the 2020,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I'm also doing something with my academy, with another partnership, to take my academy to 1 million people. 1
Wow.
million people. So that's something, thinking outside the box rather
Yep.
than seminars and getting 150 or 200 people.
Yep.
I've always thought about digital world. I've already started 2 startups in the Bay Area. One is in the cloud defense with my buddy, and then another one with my buddy about the oxygen, which is selling and buying of the commercial real estate in a very different way, frictionless way.
Yeah.
And then I'm also adding some more things into hospitality and the senior living. and then all the good stuff,
Right, right, right.
always lived my life in making systems and believing that you don't have to tell yourself, I can only do this or that.
Yeah,
When we limit ourselves, we only end up doing very small things in life. When you say, I can only do this and I'm going to put all my energy into this, I always have believed, and I am able to do it, is to work on this and this and this and this and this.
right.
And guess what? Your brain expands, your thinking expands, and you're able to accomplish so much in this short life that we all have.
Right, right, man. That's powerful. That's powerful. Last question for you. If you can give your younger self one tip in regards to investing, what would that be?
I would say my younger self, which my youth academy does it. By the way, I have a real big passion to teach the junior high, high school, college students
Yeah,
to get into real estate. I mean, that's my one advice. I wish I had known it in India. I
yeah,
never knew it. I mean, I came to know this when I was 27 or 27 when we moved here,
yeah,
39 years back in California.
yeah,
But I think young people should get into saving their money and looking forward to starting a 401k even sooner,
yeah.
because at a 14 age of 14, I think you can start one. Parents can help that too,
Right.
and take them to the bank and make a savings account and sign on them and share with them what the power of compounding
Yeah,
and how they can really invest. And my goal is that young people can actually buy a duplex or a triplex or fourplex at the age of 20 or
yeah,
21,
yeah,
because then they will taste the success. And always, when you're doing a W-2 job, never stay in just W-2, keep on doing that, but you should always open a new business on the sideline
yeah.
and be always working on that business. And
Right.
that's this book. I hope every young person
Oh yeah,
will read this book.
yeah.
Every young person, because that book has changed millions of lives,
Right,
and I've given it as gift to a lot of young people, and I
right,
enjoy that thoroughly because this
right,
book will change their demeanor and their life.
right. And for those that are listening, that's Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Yes,
Awesome
that's
book.
right. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I should have said that.
You're
Robert
fine.
Kiyosaki has
Yep,
changed my life too. I should definitely mention, and a lot of millions of people around
yep,
the globe.
yep,
You
yep.
bet.
Awesome, man. Hey, Vinny, I really appreciate you coming on the show today, man. You've added a lot of value. Tell my listeners what are the best way to get in touch with you.
Oh, sure, really. The listeners can really learn about me and who I am and my 91 or 99 podcast interviews that I've done by Googling me. You can just Google and say Vinney Chopra, Vinney. That's with the E, Vinneychopra. They
Yep,
could go to my website, again, www.vinneychopra.com,
yep,
and they could even learn if they want to learn more about our things that we are doing. Just text the word learn, learn to 474747, or email my vice president of academy now, John Rusin.
yep.
John Rusin at jon at vinneychopra.com. The last one is, if you would like to invest with me passively and with Willie and all that. Willie's also with my, in the
Yeah,
ecosystem with my, academy.
right.
And if you'd like to invest, just text the word invest 2020 to 474747.
Yep. There you
So
have it, man.
those are a few ways to see it. And I hope you pick up the book, and that will really help a lot to understand the multifamily game.
Right, right. Man, that's awesome. Well, once again, Vinny, appreciate you coming on today.
Uh,
And if I can do anything for you, just let me know.
Oh, thank you, Willie. You're amazing, and I appreciate your contributing in the academy when we do the master coaching. And
Yep,
please let me know how I can support you more. Thank you
absolutely.
again. Do a tremendous job. I'm so glad you started the podcast. It's going to become big in your
Thank you for listening to the Generational Wealth Through Commercial Real Estate podcast, brought to you by Onyx Capital Investments. Onyx Capital Investments works with investors nationwide to invest in income-producing real estate in emerging markets. Connect online at www.onyxcapitalinvestments.com to learn more about what we're doing. If we have added value to your life, please leave us a review.